right.
We're recording.
Too much levity. Let's get to work.
Oh, hey,
Had
hey.
to play deal.
You were out goofing off
I
weekend.
get the Ranger on Sunday.
All right.
Just tell them I'm gonna cancel.
Whenever you're ready, Quinn, I think.
We're recording.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right. I guess we'll do a roll call. Judy's here. Judy Corso, Mark Harrington, Joe Hayberger is not, Tim King is not, Mr. Kuntz is not. I'm here. David Miller is not here. William Siemens is here. Kevin Zier is here. And Mike Zuloff is here. So we've got a quorum. We're ready to move on to the minutes of our November 7th meeting.
Move to accept the minutes of November 7th.
Second.
Do we have any?
Mark and Bill, thank you for that. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, new business. No new business to discuss on the agenda. Does anyone have anything that they wanted to bring up that we didn't catch? All right. Moving on to old business, the landing. Mr. Klein?
Yes. The landing, I wanted to bring to your attention that we have received all of our permits. We're in the process of finalizing our last funding agreement, and we got permission to bid at the last commission meeting, so hopefully we'll open bids for the landing sometime in January, award the project in February, and hopefully that will be open summer of '26.
Wonderful.
So if you guys, I'm hoping that everybody kind of remembers that project. It's one we've been talking about for 8 years. But I did do a presentation at the commission meeting, a brief presentation. I could do it here in February if you have interest, maybe at that time, February or March. Could show you exactly what is being awarded and what's going to be done.
Thank you. I think looking around and the shaking of heads would like to hear that. So that'd be great. Welcome, Mr. Hayberger.
Hey, good morning.
All right.
You guys started too early.
We started almost on time.
Yeah.
You know, if we could
There's a big black truck out here that took all the parking spaces.
Yeah, there's some limited parking.
You didn't park in the dump truck bed?
And don't park right behind him because he
Oh,
can't see.
Nah, no, that wouldn't be.
I have no idea who that is.
All right, Sandusky Bay Pathway.
That project, the portion from Cedar Point Drive to Heminger Ditch is out to bid. We open bids next week. I was hoping to open them last week, but we had some questions that we had to get answered. So we should open them next week and then award that project in January. The other portions of the pathway, we're still trying to negotiate pieces and parts with Norfolk Southern on the west end. And then on the First Street section, we're still going through the acquisition process. So I'm looking forward to getting the bike path east of Cedar Point Drive and getting the landing going at the same time. So that'll be a lot of work being done on the east end of the city starting next spring.
All right. Carl? Yes, Mr. Harrington got my ear first.
Oh, Aaron, just a question on Edgewater Avenue. Has that all been sealed and dealt with Subaki?
Yes, we've received all of our easements and acquisition. The only one we're waiting for on the west end, this includes Monroe and Edgewater and all the way up to the terminus, the current terminus at Mills. We've received all of the acquisition that we need except for Norfolk Southern, which we're in the process of working through those details now.
Thank you.
Mr. Siemens?
That's what I was going to ask about was what's going on with the railroad.
So the acquisition, there's three parcels we're looking to acquire, two for the pathway and one unrelated to the pathway. one of the parcels is on First Street. For some reason, they still own a sliver on the north side of First Street, and the other one is just off of Monroe. It's an old spur that went up to the coal docks, I believe. We made an offer based on what we had, the appraisals and everything we had done, and we're still trying to negotiate and figure that out. The big issue that we have is the design for the crossing at Monroe Street, is trying to figure out exactly how we're going to be able to do that and get across the railroad on Monroe. Edgewater's an issue as well. We originally thought that we would be able to go within the arms of the gates there on Edgewater, but now they're telling us we might have to go outside, which might require additional arms and everything else. So we're debating, we're looking at going after a grant for the West End that ODOT just put out, and we're debating whether we do, if we get that money, if we can do everything except for the railroad crossings and come back and do those later. So,
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the pathway? Thank you. Justice Center.
if you don't mind, I will give a very brief update on the Justice Center and Wheels Park at the same time.
Okay.
There's a ribbon cutting scheduled for both of those projects. They're both essentially complete, a couple punch list items left, but the ribbon cutting is on the 16th at 3 o'clock for the Justice Center, and the ribbon cutting for Wheels Park has not been finalized, but it'll be that same afternoon, probably somewhere between 3:30 and 4 o'clock.
All right. And I saw the press release said there's also an open house for the Justice Center after the ribbon cutting. Is that correct?
Yes, there is an open house, so everybody's welcome to tour the building, tour the facility, and see how different it is.
Sure.
I imagine it's quite different. All right. Any questions on either Justice Center or Wheels Park? Mr. Zire.
I got just one quick question. The Justice Center is just the courts and the police department?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I know where to go.
All right.
Now, just to clarify, the court for the next 2 weeks is still operating out of the service center on the west end. They're planning on moving in the week of the 16th. So we just got some final work completed in the courtroom and in the magistrate's court.
Okay. Other questions? Nope. All right. Columbus Avenue streetscape. Ms. Blair.
Thank you. I have a brief update, which is mostly to say that work is trucking along, as you can tell, on Columbus Avenue. And the infrastructure is almost complete. Next up, they're looking at getting some concrete done. My understanding is that the curbs come first to create that boundary. And we don't have exact details or timelines on those things, so Megan will have a more detailed update coming up. But work is completing, no big surprises, and yeah, they're moving right along.
All right. I know our last meeting, we had several questions regarding traffic and people not understanding how to enter or exit Columbus Avenue. And I see, just based on glyph reports, that we still have those issues. I really, and I will say what I said last meeting, I think a do not enter sign or wrong way sign would, at the, where it says road closed, would be very helpful to those going northbound, because that's where obviously the issues are. People see cars and it's kind of deceiving because the lanes switch over to your regular northbound. So for those who aren't coming down on a regular basis, it is a little confusing. So I just throw that out there. I recognize road closed means road closed, but they see cars coming through and they say, well, that doesn't mean me then.
I will say, I do believe there is a do not enter sign.
I looked yesterday and I did not see it. I saw road closed, the three barricades that say road closed, but I did not see anything that said do not enter.
They added a do not enter. It's a circular one to the right of the.
To the right?
rightmost
Okay,
road
I'll
closed.
check again, because I looked, because literally yesterday I was coming, going south on Columbus Avenue and saw somebody come through, and I said, well, I wonder, yeah.
It's easiest to see if you're headed north on Columbus Avenue
Right.
and facing it. They did add one. I've seen some communications with Megan and the team to look
Okay.
at maybe putting a larger one there. And they've
All right.
also increased the amount of pedestrian signage to help people get into the Jackson Street parking lot and understand that Peddler's Alley will take them directly
Okay.
onto Columbus Avenue, and really kind of tightened up the timing and communication for when pedestrian crossings are open and closed, especially when Market was closed for a while, which is, they're out of that intersection now, so
All
that
right.
makes it easier.
This
Mr.
has to be the
Chairman.
biggest
Oh, sorry.
street project the city's ever done. Right?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Zuloff.
So, this could be nebulous, and you could talk about and second guess everything all day long, but it was kind of amusing to watch somebody go, they came south on Columbus, and they got to Market Street, and then they stopped, and they hesitated, and they started to go further down Columbus, and I think they must have concluded that they were going the wrong way because they're on the left side of the street, and they backed up like halfway down and went back and turned left on Market. So, you can't idiot-proof it, and you can't, they just weren't confident that people desperately want to comply with the rules. Sometimes it's not clear to them just what they are.
I do have, Aaron, you
Yes.
alluded to it, but the one question I would have, are we on schedule? Is there no delays? Are we still on schedule for completion?
We're still on schedule.
Good.
Oh, great.
What's estimated completion date?
The May of 2025.
Thank you.
All right,
And are we on budget?
Yes.
Okay.
cool. Even more important, right? Okay.
Yes.
Battery Park PUD.
So the Battery Park project was awarded through the county land bank, a $10 million brownfield grant. There's a good Register article from November 19th detailing that, for soil excavation, treatment and disposal, removal of an underground storage tank. So that was, again, it was applied for by the Erie County Land Bank for specifically for the Battery Park project. So that's an exciting, pretty large chunk of funding for them. So I thought I'd mention that today.
Yeah, and that's great, obviously. All right, any questions on Battery Park? Okay. The landing, I guess we.
Oh, I'm
did-
sorry. That was, yeah.
Yeah, we
that
duplicate.
was my-
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't we already talk about that?
There was a second one?
Yeah, well, maybe. We'll have it in your backyard, Mark.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great.
Okay. Lions Park grant.
So I didn't get a chance to talk to Josh about this, but in October, they brought a resolution to City Commission to apply for a coastal resilience grant. We have applied for this grant in the past and did not receive it. It's just that grant opening up again, and looking to apply to see if we can get money for a study about the erosion, like where to put a breakwater to protect the surface at Lions Park. So that's all I have, is just that was what was mentioned last month, was
Okay,
that
great.
a resolution came before City Commission to apply for that grant.
Super. Any questions, Bill?
Just back to the Battery Park, in that November 19th article, are there drawings, or do we have access to drawings of the proposed PUD?
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to think of the best spot. I think there might be a specific link on the website. I can bring your attention to that.
Somewhere on the city website?
Yeah, it has not changed since the
Okay.
presentations that have been given to City Commission and Planning Commission.
Okay.
So it's the same drawings
Same
that
thing.
we've had for the last year and a half, I think now.
Just a quick question, since we're back on Battery Park. What is the date for, do they have a due date for submitting the final?
Yes, it was 18 months from the City Commission approval of the preliminary PUD, which has been extended
Okay,
for another 18 months, and I believe it's May of '26 now,
Okay.
if I recall correctly.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else under old business? I guess the only thing I have is I wanted to congratulate Mrs. Corso on the successful opening of the Christmas market. Sure were a great number of people down there last weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mother
very
Christmas,
Mother
I'm sorry.
Christmas.
Mother Christmas, I was totally wrong. I
Well,
don't
come
know.
down again this weekend. The weather's supposed to be better, so
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the 60s.
it is. And then on the 14th, we have a big fireworks show, which will conclude it, so
Oh, wonderful.
keep it in mind, yes.
That's good to know.
The fireworks are going to be?
I believe at 9 o'clock, but I'm not positive about that, but I will find out.
It's
All right.
really beautiful down there.
It is beautiful.
It is,
There was a great article in the Cleveland Plain Dealer on Sunday.
Judy, how did you get that idea?
Chris got the idea. He took me on this Christmas market
Okay.
cruise up the Rhine River, which I thought, oh, he's going to hate this, going with his mother on this cruise. But he loved it. He said, we have to do this in downtown Sandusky, Mom.
Congrats to him, too.
So, I mean,
I
he,
really like his red
German tradition.
sport coat.
oh, he's got another one that's glitzier.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
he has literally spent thousands and thousands of dollars on this. This is all his money.
Oh,
Got some grants, a few grants later on, but basically it's all his money. And my other two kids have spent hours and hours and hours working on it. So it's been a real family project.
It's great, it's wonderful. I've done Kindle Mart in Chicago a number of times, and I like this one because it's cozier, I guess, but it's the same feel, and obviously it's just the first year, so it's got
Well,
nowhere to go but up.
If it goes well this year, he wants to double it next year.
Right.
I mean, he had all those little kiosks built by Amish.
Ah, okay.
So he wants to get twice as many next year. So we have to work with the city about
That's fantastic.
where we can put them, hopefully down Columbus Avenue,
Mhm.
if it's done.
Thank you for adding to the
You're
festivity
welcome.
of the
It's
season.
been our pleasure. We've had
All
a
right.
great time with it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, old business, we had two other items with no updates, the Causeway Wetlands and Jackson Street parking lot. Any comments that anyone has on either of those or questions? All right, seeing none.
Is there going to be a hotel there or not?
We're continuing to work with them on it, so there should be an update soon.
Okay,
All right,
That's what we want to see there.
thank you.
and they had an extended deadline as well, right?
Yeah, which is coming up, so that's why I'm expecting there'll be
Right.
some kind of,
Because the original was October, but I know that they had an extension.
yeah, they
so-
had another 4 months.
Right, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Zuloff.
while we're at it, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, I guess, is the theater. Now, I know that that's not the city's project, but so we could frame it as, what's the status of the remainder of the grant that the city may or may not give to the state? Do we know anything?
My
Just-
understanding is that the city manager is in communication with leadership at the theater, and
Okay,
that's
fair enough.
beyond that, I don't know.
Right, but lots of people are curious, and there's a lot of
Absolutely.
misinformation out there
There
too.
is, there's been a lot of
yeah.
public discussion.
So anything we can, do to provide factual information is part of our purpose, I think, our informal purpose is to make sure that we have factual information to counter any made-up stuff.
Right.
So,
Right.
thank you.
All right. Any other items that anyone has to bring forth before the committee this morning? Mr.
This is
Haber?
really on the front of the bay, but Dollar General out on the west side of town, behind Dollar General is like a little village popped up. There's back ends of trucks, and they put it on a slab. One of them's got a hole in it for air conditioning. One time there was 3 of them, now there's only 2. If you drive up, you go over the hill, over the railroad station, look to your right, and you'll see like a little village in there.
Are you talking containers?
Yeah, the back of a truck, you know, that big half of the truck. They turned them in, looks like they turned them into homes. I don't know. I don't know where they were getting their water, where they were getting their sewer. It was an interesting one.
Well, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I happen to, this was a site plan approval at Planning Commission, and I'm sure Ms. Blair can fill us in on anything the city knows.
Yeah, that project, the concept is there's one of the shipping containers they intend to turn into a restaurant that does carry out. And their site plan involved being able to turn in and kind of go through a drive-through or stop and pick up food
That's cool.
from that small restaurant. And then their plan is to put 2 other pads there that they could do either temporary or another concept of a restaurant. They had one that they use for retail that they move around to different locations. And we've asked them for an update. I know they stalled. My understanding is that they don't have utilities hooked up yet. It's not living accommodations. It's to be a commercial site where you could go get some lunch. There's parking and seating and the spots for like food trucks and the shipping containers. So,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think it's sort of interesting. It's like something totally new, and I think we ought to give it a chance. It's innovation. It's different.
It's very innovative.
If it works, it should be exciting. If it doesn't work, they'll disappear, I imagine. But I'm ready to give it a chance.
All right. We will keep our eyes and ears open on that. Okay. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Any other items? Yes. There's no one from the community present, so no community input. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Get my name in the
Oh,
minutes.
one quick question. Our next meeting is set for Thursday, January 2nd. Is that a problem for anybody being the day after New Year's? I mean, I want to make sure we have, is for Mr. Klein.
we don't have either of them, so I'd be inclined to cancel, so I don't have to run the meeting
All right,
myself, if
well,
that's
either
okay with you.
cancel or push back a week,
Yeah.
which, do we have anything pressing that we could move to February and just skip the January meeting?
I'd move to push it back a week because we probably have chair and other things to deal with.
Yeah, we do have that, right.
I'd be
Okay.
agreeable with that,
Is
pushing
the
it back a
9th
week.
available? Do we know?
I
Can we
will have to
the
check with
calendar?
the city
All right.
calendars.
If you would, Quinn, I would appreciate that and inform, just send out an email, let us know if it's available. If it is, we'll try it. Would that work for you, Mr. Klein?
Yes.
All right, and Ms. Blair?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll tentatively go on January 9th, and if the city says no, then we'll just go to February. And remember, Mr. Harrington was lobbying to be chair.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Campaign, by the way.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's all going? I'm going.